Hi fam, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video. So if you're new to my channel, you're welcome. Please go ahead, hit the subscribe button and put on your notification bell so you get notified each time I upload a new video. And if you are not new to this channel, you're welcome back. So fam, in today's video, I'll be telling the story of how I got sexually harassed by my own uncle. I'm not talking about my friend's uncle. I'm not talking about my neighbor's uncle. I'm not talking about somebody else's uncle. My very own uncle sexually harassed me. That kept me in shock. Like, I was in shock the whole night that happened. Like, seriously. So I have a bottle of red grape which I'll be sipping on while telling the story, and I'm not taking a drink because I'm happy about what happened, but then I just want to be distracted. I don't want to be caught up in my emotions while saying the story. So if you're interested in knowing how the story panned out, please keep watching. Welcome back, fam. Before we get into our story, let's pop this drink. Wow. I think I'm going to finish this drink before I finish saying this story. So to our gist, I have this uncle of mine who is related to me from my dad's side. And he's actually my uncle because my house to his house in the village is just a stone throw. You're just literally passing a bush path and you're in his house, which means we can't get married or have anything to do with each other, which he definitely knows because he's way older than I am. So we're kind of close, and that's because about this time last year, we're all in the village. So he was telling me how people have been on his neck, like you need to get married and all what's not. So I said, fine, I actually have a friend who is single as well. I could hook the both of you up and you guys take it up from there and see how it goes. And he was like, oh fine, he would like to meet her and all whatnot. So I introduced them and they met, but eventually it didn't work out. So they parted ways. That's not the story here. That's the story for another day. So my main point here is that we were close because at a time when he was still together with my friend, we usually talk about things that are going on between them and how their relationship is faring and all whatnot, you know. And sometimes my friend also tells me what is happening between them. So we're really close and all that. So throw back to like 2 weeks before this very incident, he called me up and invited me for a party. It's actually his friend's wife that had a baby, twins at that. So they were going to have like a child education kind of thingy, and it was going to be a very serious party. Sorry, a minute. So he invited me for the child education, which I was looking forward to. He had already hyped the party, that the party is going to be all fun and whatnot. Like, you need to be there, you need to attend, you're going to enjoy yourself and all what. And I was like, initially, the particular weekend they were going to have the party, I wasn't going to be around. But when it happened that I was now going to be around, I called him back. I'm like, I actually thought I wasn't going to be around that weekend, but as it is right now, I'm going to be around. So he said, fine, thank God you're going to be around, you need to come and all whatnot. I'm like, okay. From the way you're talking about this party, it sounds like it's going to be interesting. You say, if you don't make it to that party, you're going to be missing. When I come to give you the gist, you will be like, wow, I wish I had come and all. So I'm like, fine, I'll be there, I'll be around, I'll be coming, you know. And then after like 2 weeks, we had already talked about this party. He now called me up one night. Now, he now called me up one odd time of the day. This was about to 1 a.m. Unfortunately for me, my phone was not on silent, so it rang out quite loud and I had to wake up. And I picked up my phone and realized it was the one. I was like, oh, uncle, hi, and all. He was like, sorry, have I disturbed your sleep and all? I said, yes, that I was already sleeping. I said, okay, I wanted to know if you will be sleeping by this time and all whatnot. I said, yes, I had already gone to bed. I was already sleeping. I said, will I believe that him is just coming back and all? I'm like, you're already enjoying your dirty December now, that if you're coming back home by this time of the night, that means you were out having fun and all. He said, no, that there's no fun, no, and all that. It was just 1 or 2 things he went to do it outside and all. I'm like, okay, fine. And to think this so-called uncle wasn't smart enough to know he was disturbing my sleep, because I was longing to hear something very vital that will make you wake somebody up by this time of the night. Yet I didn't see anything coming. All I heard from my uncle was him giving me just about a particular cousin of mine who now resides outside the country, telling me how she used to come to his house when she was still in Nigeria with her friends, and stuff they used to do, that sometimes she comes with one friend or two friends and they have fun because he deals with drinks, so there's always drink in the house. They drink, they enjoy, they have fun. I'm like, wow, nice one. I didn't know you guys were catching all that kind of fun. That's nice one. Telling me how that particular cousin of mine introduced him to a lady friend of hers who resides in Dubai, and that every time she comes to Nigeria, he's always with the lady, and this lady in question is a married woman. Things are actually happening in this world. You know, he was giving me the gist. I was like, oh wow, nice and all. And then at every interval you hear him say stuff like, are you alone? Who is there with you? I'm like, I'm alone in my room, because I was actually alone in my room sleeping. You know, I'm like, I'm alone in my room, why are you asking? He said, no, a minute please. So he said, who is there with you? I said, I'm alone in my room sleeping and all. Some other time you hear him say stuff like, I don't know how you're going to take this, so I don't know how you're going to. I'm like, I'm wondering what you have to say that has not been heard before. Like, what exactly is new that you're going to tell me? So go ahead and say what you have to say, you know. And he will go like, okay, or if you say I should go ahead. So he will go on telling me how my cousin will come around with her friends, sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes more, and the nasty and dirty things they do. And I'm like, wow. I didn't know this were happening. To think that that cousin of mine was also married, or is still even married at the time all this were going on. So I'm like, oh, really nice and all that. Because of course I couldn't castigate anybody. I just wanted to go back to sleep. Little did I know that a bomb was forthcoming. Apparently my uncle has been looking for how to land where he was going to. So all these things he was telling me was just like to water the ground and let me start hearing things like this, so that when he says what he has in mind, I won't be in shock. So eventually my own uncle summoned the courage to ask me, what are you wearing? I'm like, nightwear, of course. All the way to sleep. It's not nightwear. I thought I had heard it all until I heard the next thing that came out of this man's mouth to me. OMG. I was cold. Like I was freezing cold. My uncle opened his mouth to ask me, so what are you wearing under your nightwear? At the point I'm like, probably I didn't hear well. No, it has to be that I didn't hear him well, because if someone had even told me that this particular uncle of mine will ever open his mouth to utter such nonsense out of his mouth, I swear I will argue with you. I will argue that it's not possible. And then you're asking me, what am I wearing to sleep? What am I wearing under what I'm wearing to sleep? Are you supposed to be my uncle? Fam, you see this case of sexual abuses and rape cases that we hear every day, especially from very closely knitted families. Now I'm beginning to add 1 + 1. No wonder. Like, no wonder. So from that moment, I knew I needed to end this call. Like, I needed to call it quits. So next thing that came out of my mouth when he asked me that question was, we'll talk tomorrow. And he was going to be persistent. Trust me. Trust me. He was actually going to be persistent. Like, let's talk. We can talk. Are we not talking already? What do we have to say tomorrow again? Let's just talk. I just insisted that we'll talk tomorrow. Don't worry, we'll talk tomorrow. And I was just even still saying we'll talk tomorrow, and I ended the call. And I doubt I ever went back to bed. I was thinking, like, what if I was a minor being kept under this so-called uncle's watch? This certainly will not be my story today. This certainly would not be my story today. But God forbid. Oh, I just thought to share this story, and I don't even know how protective I'm going to be of my girl daughter in future. Like, nobody, you do not, I would, nobody, you can't, if I have not given you permission to be with my daughter or touch my daughter or play with my daughter, you don't. Like, you don't. Because they tend to, I'm just imagining all those little children that have gone through such abuses. You know, this is going to mess up their psyche for the rest of their life. Me, as an adult, I was in shock that night. I kept thinking, it has not actually happened though. Just that he said such things to me. I was thinking, I was deep in thoughts that night. Then I'm now wondering how people that this thing have actually happened to feel. I don't know what this world is turning into. I don't know. I really honestly do not know. I don't know. To think that the next day the so-called uncle still called my phone. Maybe he was thinking that we'll actually continue the conversation because I said we'll talk tomorrow, and he had the effort to still call my phone. Yeah, I was even thinking that maybe another day he might say, I was under the influence of alcohol. Are you sure I said all those things to you? Are you sure? Fam, if you have kids out there, especially girl, you need to be very, very careful. You need to be very, very, very mindful. I swear down, there are wolves outside disguised as human. There are vampires, there are demons, there are devils out there disguised as human. And we need to be very careful. So I just thought to come on my YouTube channel and share my own story just to inspire one or two people out there. So there isn't more to the story. And fam, with that, I've come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoy watching. If you do not forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, share and subscribe if you are yet so. I'll catch you in my future video. Bye for now.